Hey everyone, I'm Mind, and you can see in front of me right here, I have all of the new Ninjago sets releasing in June 2023. These are all the sets for the new Ninjago Dragon's Rising Wave, and they were sent to me early by LEGO for review. I've got reviews of every single one of these sets up right now on my YouTube channel, so if you want to see any of these sets in more depth after this video, feel free to go to my channel and check it out. But anyway, whenever LEGO sends me away from Ninjago sets early for review, after I do all of my individual reviews, I'd like to make a video just going over all of them, and discussing like which ones overall I recommend you buy. This is one of the biggest Ninjago waves in a while. There's also of course the Ninjago City Markets, which just didn't fit here because it's so big, but I will still mention that set a little bit in this video. But yeah, with all this here, I want to talk about my favorite sets of the wave, my least favorite sets of the wave, the ones I think that are must-have sets, the ones I think are really easy to pass up on. So let's just get started. I want to start off by saying the minifigure distribution in this wave is actually pretty good. Now the sets overall are quite expensive, so it does still cost a lot to get every character, but there's only 3 exclusive minifigures across the entire wave, like minifigures that don't come in any other sets. And that is the Spirit of the Temple minifigure, of course from the Temple set, the all-new character Wildfire in the Big Fire Dragon set, and then very weirdly the Imperium Guard back there with a Lightning Dragon. That's just one of the generic villains of this wave, but for some reason that guy only comes in one set. But yeah, all 8 of the main ninja, as well as Baby Ryu, the new Baby Dragon, as well as all 3 of the main villains come in at least 2 sets or more. So unlike Ninjago Crystallized, if you want to get everything from this wave, you don't actually have to buy every set, which is definitely a breath of fresh air. So I guess we'll start with the sets that are, in my opinion, the easiest sets to skip. Right off the bat, we have the new Destiny's Bounty. While I do really like this set, it is, at the end of the day, just another Destiny's Bounty. And in my opinion, the previous versions are a little bit better, so if you already have a previous bounty, I don't think you necessarily need this one. That being said, if you're not going to get too many sets, but you just want to get like one big set, I think the bounty's a pretty good set to get if it's going to be your only set from the wave. Because you get all 3 of the new main characters, Aaron, Sora, and Ryu, and then the 2 most important original ninja for this wave, Lloyd and Kai, as well as Raptown, who's one of the important villains for this wave. However, all those characters come in other sets. In fact, if you get the Sora bike and the Heatwave Lava Transforming Dragon, you'll get all those minifigures plus more for like $55 less. So I'm not saying the bounty's a bad set by any means, and I think like if you don't have a bounty yet and you've been looking to get a bounty, I don't think you'll be disappointed. But if you want just the best value for your money, and especially if you already have a bounty, I think that one's a pretty easy one to pass up on. Another very skippable set in my opinion is Lloyd and Aaron's Ninja Team Mix. While I do like this set overall, what you get in this set just feels a little bit lackluster compared to some of the other sets of the wave. The price certainly isn't the best. You only get 5 minifigures for $80, compared to like the Zane card, which is 1 less minifigure for $55 less. And if you go check out my review of this set, you'll see this in more detail. But yeah, while I like the overall look of everything, the posability on this one's a bit weird, so I think it makes for a great display piece, but not the best toy. The Aaron mech, however, is quite cool, and I like how the 2 of them combine. So I guess I should say, I don't think there's any, like, truly bad sets this wave. Like, if you have the budget and you really love Ninjago and you want to get them all, I don't think you'll be disappointed by getting them all. But yeah, of all the sets here, the Lloyd mech would probably be the one that I recommend the least. And then in terms of the must-have sets of this wave. Now, when I say must-have, that's a very loose term, because obviously I know everybody has a different budget, so not everybody's going to be able to get all these sets. So when I say something's a must-have set, that's me saying that, like, if you're looking to buy a Ninjago set, these would be at the top of the list of ones I recommend. First, we have the 2 small sets. The Imperium Dragon Hunter Hound, I think the build's solid overall. It's not like my favorite build of all time, but it's good enough. It's cool to get a villain build, and I always want to support villain builds because I want to get more from Ninjago. But more importantly is the minifigure selection of this set is fantastic. It's a $20 set, and you get Jay, Lloyd, and one of the Imperium villains. And while Lloyd does come in lots of other sets, the next cheapest way to get him is the Jay Dragon for $130. So obviously, for $110 less, if you want a Jay minifigure, that's the way to do it. So I suppose if you're planning on getting the Jay Dragon, you could probably skip out on this one. However, for most collectors, I just feel like this one's such a great deal that there's no reason to pass it up. And then the other must-have set in my eyes is the Zane car. Again, a really good minifigure selection because both the minifigures of this set are pretty rare. The only other set Cole comes in is the $95 Temple, and then the only other set Zane comes in is again that big dragon in the back. So yeah, obviously $35 is a much cheaper way to get those 2. And then you also get 2 villains, which is nice, but the thing I really love about that set is the play feature. You can go check out my review if you want to see it in action, but the whole gimmick with this set is this is a car that can do Spinjitzu. So you're able to roll it on the ground and just like spin it super fast, and you get like these 2 vehicles for the villains that it can knock into, and genuinely that's the most fun I've had with a LEGO feature in a very long time. It reminds me a lot of the stuff you'd see in like the 2011 Ninjago sets, and it's just so great. So I would probably call that the most fun toy of this wave. But yeah, the play feature's fun, the build looks great, and the minifigure selection's fantastic. That might even be the set I recommend the most of this wave. And then my final quote-unquote must-have set, this is must-have in heavy quotes because it is an expensive set, but that would be the Temple of Dragon Energy Cores. Like if you do have a decent bit of budget and you want to get one of the bigger sets, that would be the big set I recommend. Because number 1, it's probably the best value set of this wave. wave. All LEGO sets nowadays are quite expensive, and it's disappointing to see. However, at least in my opinion, that one doesn't feel too overpriced. It's $95. And you also just get a great minifigure selection there. That's the cheapest full-size set that Nia comes in. Nia's a weird minifigure this wave because she's one of the main characters of the new show, but there's not really any easy way to get her. You can pay $95 for that set, $35 for this 4+ set down here, or $370 for the Ninjago City Markets. So yeah, if you don't want to buy a 4+ set, that's your cheapest way to get Nia. However, I do think that set's really good. As I mentioned earlier, you also get the exclusive Spirit of the Temple minifigure, and you also get both of the main villains for this wave, Empress Beatrix and Lord Ras. And then on top of all that, this set's just gorgeous. It's such a pretty temple, probably one of my favorite I've seen in a while. I love how vertical it is, and while I do wish there was a bit more interior, I don't know, it just feels like a fun set to me. I love the tree growing out of the side, there's lots of different play features all throughout, and as I said before, really good minifigure selection. Now if you get those 3 sets that I just mentioned, you'll have most of the minifigures for this wave. You'll have one of each of the original Ninja plus 2 of Cole, a few of the generic villains for this wave, as well as 2 of the main villains, Empress Beatrix and Lord Ras. The only things you'd be missing are the new characters for this wave, Aaron, Sora, and Baby Ryu, as well as another one of the main villains, Rapton. Now luckily, all those characters come together in one set, and that is Sora's transforming mech bike racer. Now I do really love the build of that set, probably my 3rd or 4th favorite overall build of this wave, and probably the 2nd best toy after the Zane car. The issue with that set is it's a little bit overpriced. $48 does feel like a little bit much. However, if you don't mind paying the slightly higher price, I believe that combination of sets is the cheapest way to get most of the characters in this wave. You'd still be missing Wildfire from the Fire Dragon, and the 1 Imperium Guard from the Lightning Dragon, but I think those characters are definitely less important than everything else. So yeah, in my opinion, that's probably the best budget collection for this wave, because if you get those 4 sets, it comes out to slightly under $200, which still a lot of money. I know it's not going to be for everybody, but that should be the cheapest way to get most of the stuff this wave, and also all those sets are pretty darn good. The Imperium Hound's the only one there that I don't really love, but that set's only $20 with 3 great minifigures, so I'd say for most collectors, that might be the path to go. Now let's talk about some other metrics. Which set here has the best build of this wave? Like, if you're not a huge fan of the Ninjago show and you just want a really cool build, which of these sets should you pick up? And that's a super easy answer for me. The Temple would be a close second, but my number 1 would be the Jade Dragon right here. Now, the issue with this set is this also takes the cake for the most overpriced set of this wave. That thing is $130, it's the dragon and the mech next to it. And while I love both of those builds, this might be the best dragon we've ever gotten. Man, that is not a $130 dragon. So I feel like this is one of those sets that's going to be really cool to get when it's on sale, but in my opinion, it's probably not worth it for full price. Because even though the build's fantastic, that price is just way too much to justify. In terms of the best single minifigure selection of any set, that would probably have to go to either the Bounty or the Temple. I think the Bounty is great in the context of the show, because you get all the most important characters right there, plus Sensei Wu. But then the Temple just also has a great selection with 3 ninja, including Nia, who's the rarest one, an exclusive minifigure, and 2 of the main villains. Now, some alternative options if you're buying on a bit more of a budget. You can't always get this 4+ set, Nia and Aaron's Baby Dragon battle. That comes with Nia, Aaron, and Baby Ryu, and that's the cheapest way to get all 3 of those figures. However, it is a 4+ set, so the build of that set's not anything too exciting, but it is a good way to get those figures if you don't want the more expensive sets. There's also the 3 spinners in the front right here, and there is a Nia in these spinners. It's a slightly different version of her, but I suppose that's the absolute cheapest way to get Nia. And these spinners are actually very fun. They're probably my favorite spinners since 2011. They're now $11 instead of $10 for some reason. It just feels silly to me. It's not like a huge difference, but like, did it need to go up $1? But yeah, all 3 of the minifigures are fantastic. I would say the Lloyd spinner has the most fun play feature, then Kai, then Nia. But I would say just get the ninja you like most if you're not getting them all. And then if you're getting them all, I mean, yeah, they're fun. A couple things I want to mention, I would say don't write out this 4+ set over here on the side. This set comes with both Kai and Ras for only $20, and the builds aren't terrible. Like, they are very simple, and obviously meant for very young kids. But even for older collectors, it's not like the worst thing ever. You get some exclusive prints, and these 2 minifigures are pretty darn cheap. So if you don't care as much about the Empress minifigure and you don't want to get the big temple, with that, like, cheapest option that I mentioned before, swapping the temple out for this set, you'd lose the Empress minifigure, the Spirit of the Temple minifigure, and the Nia minifigure, but you would have 5 of the 6 original ninja, as well as 1 of the main villains, and then you could also get Nia from the other 4+ set or her spinner if you wanted to. Another interesting combo of sets that's a little more expensive, but something I definitely noticed, is if you get the biggest 3 sets of this wave, the Bounty, the Elemental Dragon versus Empress mech, and then the Temple of the Dragon Energy Cores, those 3 will actually also get you every main character for this wave. Aaron, Sora, Ryu, Lloyd, Kai, and Rapton are all in the Bounty, then Jay, Zane, the Empress, and Ras are all in the Dragon, and then of course you get a second of the Empress and Ras in the Temple, as well as Nia and Cole, who are the last 2 ninja you would need, and then a second of Kai as well as the exclusive Spirit of the Temple minifigure. Now that combination's about double the price of the other combination that I mentioned, at $385 for those 3, so you definitely need a much bigger budget for that one. But if you're someone who collects more for display and just want a couple of big sets on your shelf, rather than a bunch of small ones, that's an option you have, I suppose. Still though, the combination of minifigures you get are not the best there, because even though you get all the important characters, minifigures, you don't really have any generic villains then. In fact, across those 3 sets, you only get one, with the exclusive Imperium Guard and the Dragon. Oh, I guess another thing that's important to mention is that the Nia minifigure does come in the Ninjago City markets, and obviously that's a very expensive set, but I know a lot of people are planning on getting it anyway. So if you are planning on getting that set, yeah, just getting the 3 small sets, including the 4+ set, will get you all the original Ninja, plus the new Ninja if you add in the Sora bike. But yeah, I guess the only set I haven't really mentioned yet in this video is the Lava Dragon in the center right there. That, of course, comes with the exclusive Wildfire minifigure, which of course I know a lot of people are going to want to get, as well as Kai, Lloyd, Lord Ras, and then one of the generic villains. And that set, I don't know, it's in a very awkward place in this collection, very similarly to the Lloyd mech, where it doesn't feel like it does anything in terms of like minifigure selection to make it desirable over the others if you're not buying every single set. I do think the build's a very fun toy though. The way the dragon's actually reversible, again, go check out my actual review of that set if you want to see that in more action. So yeah, if you're like a big dragon person, I mean, it is a good set, and it is really cool to get the exclusive minifigure of Wildfire, but she's really the only driving factor of that set, because all the other figures are available in cheaper sets, and while I do like that build, I think a lot of the other builds are better too. And then I guess the final thing I'll talk about is the collectibles of this wave, the Dragon Energy Cores. They're like these little ball pieces that you can see in the spinners down here, and there's a total of 6 to collect, and most of them are exclusive to only one set, but then 2 of them come in more than one set. So there's the green one on the Lloyd spinner, the orange one on the Kai spinner, the purple one on the Lava Dragon's back, the yellow one on the Lightning Dragon's head, then there's the blue one which is both in the Nia spinner and in the Zane car, and then finally there's the gold one which comes in a total of 4 sets. There's one of it in each spinner, as well as in the Temple of the Dragon Energy Core set. So yeah, if you want to get all the collectibles for the absolute cheapest, you would have to get all 3 spinners as well as the 2 dragons. I do kind of wish those pieces came in more sets, because yeah, about half the sets this way just don't have them at all. But anyway, yeah, I think that's most of what I have to say for this video. If you guys have any further questions for me, like, hey, should I get this set or that set, let me know in the comments. But to sum it all up for you, if you're only going to get one big set, like one and done, I'd recommend the Bounty. I think it's a great set just standalone. However, if you're going to be getting a lot of other sets, the Bounty's one of the easiest to skip out on. If you don't care about minifigures and you're just looking for the absolute best builds, my recommendation would be number 1, the J-Dragon, and then number 2, the Temple. If you're wondering what the most skippable sets are, in my opinion, it would be the Lloyd mech, then the Bounty, depending on whether or not you have a Bounty yet, and then finally the Lava Dragon, because while I like it, it's just not as desirable as some of the others. The most fun play features of the wave would be the Zane car, the Sora mech, and then the Lava Dragon. And then the must-have sets, at least to me, are the Imperium Dragon Hunter Hound, the Zane car, the Temple of the Dragon Energy Cores, and then one of the spinners. It doesn't matter what spinner, but I would recommend you get at least one just because they're fun to play with. But yeah, I think that's about all I got for this video. Let me know what you guys think of all these sets in the comments below. All the stuff I talked about in this video, including the prices of all these sets and whether or not I think they're worth it, I go into way more detail about in the actual reviews of these sets. So I'll have a pinned comment below this video with a playlist to all of my individual reviews. But I think that's about all I have to say, so thanks for watching everybody, I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!